Do you remember when I did? So I think it was when Spurs played Chelsea, right? And do you know when they played that dead high line halfway?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, it's amazing! It's amazing." I said that it was just naivety from like Postecoglou doing that, and I got slated for it online when we released it. He was like, "Oh, it's amazing football. How is it naivety and all this stuff?" So I was like, "Right, okay." And then I've seen a lot of like ex-footballers and like even Jamie O'Hara, who's a Spurs fan. He's come out now and says now that they're losing, like the last 2 or 3,
And they can't be doing that.
Yeah, he came out and he was like, oh, "It's all good and everything, but it's just naivety." I went, "That's what I said." And then
you're not putting yourself in the bracket that you think he's the football guru.
No, but it's the fact that other people are now saying it because they're losing.
I would say, and I think it's admirable to maintain the same play style. You know, you can sit back and say it's naive and it's stupid because they're not getting results. But I would rather, from maybe this is just because of my perspective from us watching United, where there is no clear vision. I would rather be a Spurs. I wouldn't rather be a Spurs fan. Let me take that back. I'd rather be in their shoes right now, in terms of regardless of the result, there is a clear-cut vision for how they're supposed to play football, and we can't say that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would rather have Postecoglou right now playing that football.
You see when Eric Ten Hag comes out and he says, "I need to play different styles of football and set up different tactical approaches because I don't have the players to play this Ajax style."
That just means we're going into every game not knowing what's going to happen.
To me, you've got to, if you're going to say that and you believe that with your chest, then play the way you want to play and exposes the players that don't fit your system.
Yeah,
but I don't think that looks good for him because he's signed those players.
Yeah.
So when you look at how Postecoglou's approached that, and he's trying to get what he can with the players he's got, and he wants to play this certain type of football, it will show in games and to the board that they can turn around and say, "I've played like this. You wanted me to play like this. I'm X players short, and if I bring them in, I think we'll be more resolute." Because it's like how you've highlighted before when they're playing with essentially 4 fullbacks across the back line. Yeah. He must be doing that because he doesn't. I know he's got some injuries and there's some suspensions in there, but he's doing that because he doesn't fancy the other centre halves that he's got. He doesn't want to play Eric Dyer.
Yeah.
So I admire it, but I'm not blind and sort of in admiration like I think some pundits are, where they're saying it's incredible that they're doing this because it's still poor if you get beat like that.
So another like point that I made in that little clip what we released is, I think if you're going to carry on playing like this, they're unable to see games out as well. So like even when like say 2-1 up, 87th minute, 88th minute, you even see big teams like City. Haaland was doing it not long ago. I remember him in the corner, kicking it at the other players to get corners and stuff, like wasting time, seeing a game out. And I just feel like Tottenham are never going to get away from that. Do you know how they're described nowadays? Like, oh, that's just Tottenham, they'll win it. Yeah. I don't think they're ever going to get away from that if they're unable to see games out.
Yeah, the mentality. I think the mentality is a big thing, and I think it sounds silly because City won so many titles in recent years. But I think that's why City failed to win the Champions League on numerous occasions when they've been favourites for years before finally getting it last year.
Yeah.
They obviously had the final against Chelsea. I think it's a mentality thing. They were coming up against, was it Lyon or someone they played one year? They get knocked out. The Spurs game, I know you could maybe argue they got robbed a little bit with Sterling.
They were getting knocked out by Spurs and Liverpool and stuff.
Some poor decisions here and there, but I think that was a mentality thing where they'd never won it before as a club, and I think it does weigh on you. I think you get that first one out the way, and Spurs have been starved for success for so many years.
As soon as they get that first win, if Postecoglou turns around now and goes and gets a trophy, they might actually start believing in it.
Yeah. I think that you look at Harry Kane, how good he was all them years for Tottenham, and they just never quite managed to do it. And, he's never managed to quite take England to success despite coming close. Obviously, they got to the Champions League final and fell to Liverpool in what was, just to throw it out there, probably one of the worst Champions League finals I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But no, I think there's some weight in that. It might sound stupid.
There is some weight in that, actually, because, do you know, Mourinho was the closest...
We had that final.
Yeah,
they sacked him.
But they sacked him. But Spurs, he can actually see games out.
Yeah, but he
and
would
that's
have...
the difference.
If any if Guardiola didn't want to play any manager in a one-off game, it's Jose Mourinho.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they've gone and sacked him and put Ryan Mason in charge, who, not knocking the bloke, he's on the coaching staff now, but he'd never had any managerial experience. And even if you're going to get rid of Mourinho, you don't. I think that's Daniel Levy there trying to show, I'm the fucking boss. You're gone. You speak out or say something I don't like. That's it. You're gone.
Yeah, but I would just let him have that game. And
Swallow
then
your pride for that one game, Christ,
yeah.
because that would have been their first trophy in 30 years. It's been. Correct me if I'm wrong, the Spurs fans. Smythe, you can, I'm sure, weigh in on that. I'm sure it's been about 30 years since they've won anything of note, or certainly a league title. Actually, maybe it's been 30 years since a league title.
Yeah.